This week on Letters to Lauren, we are hearing from a letter writer named Megan. This week, I'm joined by Michelle Leon, our expert coach here at Lauren LaRusso Coaching. She works with individuals and couples every single day to provide guidance and insight to help them resolve where they are feeling stuck because of an affair. And her insight is so valuable, and I love that you all can gain from it when she joins me every other week. So welcome, Michelle, and let's get into Megan's letter. Megan writes, "Hello, I was having an affair with a married man for nearly 3 years. I am also married. He told me he loved me, he wanted to be with me, and everything in between. We decided to end things with our partners, but before we did, he texted me ending things and blocked me on everything. He completely broke my heart, and I fell apart completely. Fast forward nearly a year on, lots of counseling and working on my marriage. My affair partner has texted me, asking if I am okay and telling me he's going through a divorce. Part of me wants to run. Part of me wants to respond, as I guess I do still love him, but I don't think I can get over the way he treated me. Can you help me move forward and maintain my value? Megan." Megan, a lot of love for you. You know that the way that your affair partner treated you, a lot of really important things that are not healthy for you to forget. I do believe that we have a responsibility to the people that we get in relationships with. And that is not always an easy thing for people to hear because we want to believe that the affair partner is just this discardable, we assign sort of an image that we have of someone who would be an affair partner, and they don't, deserve to be treated properly, or they don't deserve a proper explanation or ending. They are still a human being. So, values aside, when you are in a relationship with another human being, you owe it to them to conduct yourself in alignment with the fact that you began that relationship, you were in that relationship, and you don't just get to dip on somebody, right? We don't ghost somebody. Now, it happens when an affair is discovered, especially, and someone just ghosts their affair partner because suddenly everything terrifying is coming to the surface and it's like life and death, right? And so if someone's going to die, it has to be the affair, right? And so I would say, Michelle, and I wonder if you concur with this, is that sort of where we see that the most is,
Oh yeah.
yeah, when you have to make a decision
Oh yeah.
and you just unilaterally make it, and then the affair partner is left reeling as if someone died, but they're still out there, living. So it's heartbreaking, but I would say that your affair partner has demonstrated to you how he respects and truly cares about you. And I would take great pause at entertaining someone like this being in your life in any way. How somebody handles the end of a relationship is tremendously important. It is tremendously important in terms of what it says about their capacity and ability to conduct themselves. And that's some really important information. So he cared more about himself than he did about you. And for whatever reason he did that, it almost doesn't matter. You had to heal and you had to pull your life and yourself back together again. And he didn't care until he was in a divorce process about how you were doing. He didn't care to reach out and see what the impact was or how you were doing or what you were doing until it served him. That to me is a tremendous red flag. So, Michelle, what are you thinking?
This happens so often in our work is this dual reality, concept from dialectical behavioral therapy, but I find it's so relevant in this work. That and what dual reality says is that two opposing and or contradictory beliefs can be true at the same time. So where she says, I love him still, and what should I do? That you can love him still have feelings for him, and look back at that relationship, longingly, or, with affection. And so that's true. And this is not the relationship for me. This is not the person I should be with. And I have made a different choice. People think often that because I love him, it's somebody I have to be with, that though, because those align, they're not opposing or contradictory. And so that's such a difficult place for people to be in, right? Even in the ending of a marriage, that I love my husband and this marriage no longer serves me. Like, how? And so I really think that this dual reality concept is just so relevant in our work so often, and I talk about it a lot. So in this particular one, that example I just gave, that you do still care about him, and as Lawrence, I would take great pause as to whether or not he showed up for you in an appropriate and respectful and loving fashion a year ago. And in the meantime, we've talked about before about, that North Star of values, and who I want to be and how I'm living, or the choices that I'm making. And so making choices that continue to drive you on this path in your life that is towards your values and what you want and who you are.
I think that's perfect. And Michelle, I love it's like the word "and" on a silver platter, because what we see with affairs is that we take our feelings to be facts, right? We assign meaning to our feelings, which of course we do. Their feelings are really important information.
We're not
The
robots.
question is, what is the feeling? And when it comes to an affair, we think that the longing and the residual love and the bond means that choosing back into this person, or choosing this person, is the right choice. And the tricky thing about affairs is, no, like that does not necessarily mean. Sometimes it does, but in the vast majority of cases, I would say it doesn't. Feelings are not facts in this case. Feelings are feelings. And the fact is that this person has shown you something about how he has conducted himself that really hurt you, and showed you that perhaps he is not the partner to rely on for the future. But again, that's for you to sort of sort out. And so you can go on to my website, laurenlarusso.com, and go to the courses and programs area. And the gain and loss quadrant is a value sort to help you really get clear about your values in your life. Because our feelings will lead us astray when they take over the logic. And the logic is often, really illuminating. So this is something that I know we both see with affairs and affair partners all the time, is negotiating with logic and reality. You negotiate with what you know you really do want, because of the power and the intoxication and the intensity of the affair relationship. And the truth is, like, Megan, really, only you know why you got into that affair. Only you know why you got to the point where you were about to leave your partner to be with this person. What about him? What about this guy? It takes a long time to really know somebody. And we get into affairs and we think we know our partner, because it is so it can feel so authentic, so freeing, so honest, so uninhibited, and that is extremely powerful. And so it feels like we know this person perhaps better than we've ever known anyone. And there's that word "and" again. It takes a long time to really know someone. And we all have dark sides, and we all have regressive parts of ourselves, and we all have selfish parts, and we all have bad habits and bad patterns from our past, from our childhood wounding, from our marriages, right? And if you're not healing those parts of yourself, you will carry them straight into the affair relationship. And that's so much of the work that, Michelle, you and I do when we're working with people who want to leave their marriage for an affair, which is be cautious about assigning all of these negative, oh, hello.
Oh, she heard me.
Hello.
Hi, sweetie.
Be cautious about assigning all of these negative qualities to your marriage and your spouse and putting the affair on a pedestal because pedestals are never reality. It's a far fall when reality hits. And so the best thing you can do is get clear about, your role in both relationships because that's the part that's going to be with you in your marriage and in your affair. Like wherever you go, there you are. And the fatal flaw is that people don't work on themselves. They jump relationships thinking that this relationship makes me a better person because I feel better in it, and they take it with them. And so my concern is we don't know the work this guy has done. We have no idea why he got into an affair, made these promises, and then went dark. But I would say, from a perspective of someone who does this every day, that's indicative of someone who has not done the work on themselves and was in over his skis. So anyway, all that to say that Megan, I would take great pause before reaching back out because he didn't feel so compelled to be in touch with you. So perhaps this is your time to not feel so compelled to be in touch with him. Michelle, any other thoughts before we wrap
I
up?
think my last one I realized I didn't touch on before was I was just going to say that when the affair ended a year ago, Megan, you didn't leave your marriage, so, the choice at that time, if it sounds to me like it was, the ending of your marriage was solely based on whether or not you were going to go and be with your affair partner. And without him, the marriage was, at least it sounds to me, salvageable enough to continue to work on, do lots of counseling as you refer to in your letter. And so I think that says something as well, that upon the end of the affair and upon now sitting with no distractions in your marriage, here it is, here's my husband, here's my life, that the last year has not brought about a different decision to leave the marriage. And that's often, certainly, I know with my clients, I'm sure with yours too, Lauren, is, regardless of the affair partner, let's talk about the marriage, because if this doesn't work, we really need to be isolating our two different situations. That I really try to parse that out with clients. And so, upon the end of the affair and in the last year, looking at your husband, it sounds like you've been putting in that work. And rather than looking at this marriage and going, you know what, thank you, affair, for illuminating the fact that actually this marriage isn't for me. It sounds, to at least from the information we have. And so I just kind of want to point that out. It doesn't sound like the marriage was over upon the end of the affair, and that, I think that says a lot. So I just want to put that one out there.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. And if you have worked on your marriage and stayed, and you get to make a decision from that vantage point. Be cautious about letting someone back in when you've done a lot of your own work. Megan, we hope this helps. Good luck and happy healing. Take care.